Hello everyone and welcome back. It is time for my December 2022 reading wrap up. December was a bit of a mixed month. I read 8 books in total, 7 books, plus I also read Small Miracles by Olivia Atwater as part of the SPFBA finalist batch. So that sounds like quite a good amount of books, but there were chunks of the month I didn't read because I caught this whatever it was that was going around, and I just had no energy for reading. Still not quite got my voice back, and I'm still coughing, so expect I'm going to cut a lot of coughing out for the videos I'm going to be recording today. The first book I read this month was You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca. Each precious thing I show you in this book is a holy relic from the night we both perished. The night when I combed you from my hair and watered the moon with your blood. You've lost a lot of blood. This was weird and not quite what I expected. I'm not sure what I expected. It's a nested novella within a novella and also has some sort of found recordings and transcripts. There's a lot going on and I'm not quite sure how it ties itself together. I did really enjoy the novella within the novella, and I kind of wish that had been developed a little bit more. There's something visceral and unforgiving about the writing though, which kind of hooked me in and wants me to read more from this author. I gave this 3 out of 5. Then I read Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is the 3rd book in the series with everyone's favourite murderbot. Continues to investigate things. I've got to say things feel a little bit repetitive at this point. There is another group of humans that Murderbot does not want to get attached to, and you kind of know how that goes. I'm finding though that while I enjoy them, I don't have a lot of feelings or anything to say at the end. So while I gave this 4 out of 5, I don't think I'm going to continue on with this series at this point because, like I say, it's fine when I read it, but now at the end of the month I'm like, yeah, that was a thing I read. Then the next book I read was The Supernova Era by Cixin Liu, and this is translated by Joel Martinson. 8 years ago and 8 light years away, a supermassive star has died, and tonight a wave of high energy radiation hits the Earth. And within a year, everyone over the age of 13 will be dead. Adults apprentice their children to show them the skills that they need to keep the world running. But do they want to carry on the legacy of the world before? This is quite dark in places. Cixin Liu seems to accept that children could be really quite evil, because I think at times they don't really understand the consequences. There are some really dark passages in here about what the kids get up to. However, this is so clunky to read. There are dry info dumps which don't really do a lot for the plot, and the plot feels secondary for all these info dumps. So I'm finding that Cixin Liu is quite hit or miss with me, because the ideas are fantastic but not always the best execution. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Then I read Babylon's Ashes by James S.A. Corey, and this is the 6th Expanse book, and I'm quite pleased I got to this point by the end of the year because this is actually a pretty good place to stop. 6 books in, let's not really go into the plot, but it continues on from events from book 5. Lots of politics in this one. I know there's quite a lot of politics in the series in general, but there is a lot in this one because there's stuff that needs resolving, stuff that needs setting up for the time skip, a lot of point of views and a lot of one-off points of view, so it felt very choppy. But yeah, 4 out of 5. I'm still loving the series. I'm so glad that I'm rereading, and as I said, book 6 is the end of the first era in this series, so good place to stop at the end of the year. Then a bit of a disappointment. I read Dark Tales by Shirley Jackson and did not really like this one. 17, I think. 17. Yeah, 17 short stories. Just a lot of them meander, and there seems to be no anything to the story. It just stops before it gets to a point where you would get what was going on in the story. Some good ones though, some standout ones, but a lot of this was just, this is an eerie thing. Yeah, let's stop the story before we don't need to find out what the thing is, but it just stops. So many of the stories just stop. That's all I can say. I gave this 2 out of 5. Still exploring Shirley Jackson. Still love the writing, but did not get on with that one. Then I read Death's Beating Heart by Rob J. Hayes. This is the 5th and final book in the War Eternal series, and oh, there's such a good conclusion. Iskara is one of my favourite characters who's ever just been written in anything, and this has been such a fun series to follow. But yeah, great conclusion, had a fantastic time. I gave this 4 out of 5. And the final book I read was Wistful Ascending by JCM Byrne, and I actually started this on audiobook. The author sent me a code so I could listen to it, but I did finish the last bit on Kindle just so I could get this wrapped up by the end of the year, because I'm still getting my footing with audiobooks, so I don't listen to them very quickly, and I didn't want to carry anything over. The Ildrak Empire spans half the galaxy, built off the feet and fists of its powered hybrids. Rohan of Earth is one such hybrid, and after 10 years of fighting the wars, he just wants to fade into anonymity. Then he joins Wistful, an ancient, sentient, massive space station, and he finds a job and just wants to get on with life. And then a long dormant wormhole opens in Wistful's system, opened by a ship full of refugees, drawing the unwanted attention of the Empire. This is a full of life, vibrant world that I really enjoyed exploring. The space station was fantastic. So many different aliens on this. I love getting to know Rohan and his interactions with everyone, and yeah, it was just so much fun. I'm looking forward to continuing on and seeing what Rohan gets up to next. I gave this 4 out of 5. So those were the books that I read in December. I would love to know what you read. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all soon.